Hello, welcome back. This is Mandy, and I want to try, I may be trying to do too many things in this video, so it might be long. I want to try Art as a cell activator. Some people love it, some people are indifferent about it. I actually was just watching Lisa Marvin, and she was saying that it plays better with a different pouring medium than her Bear 8300. So now I'm nervous that I don't use Bear 8300, but I do use Bear Dynasty, so can't be all that different. So, but when she tested these on blooms, her cells were really beautiful. So anyway, I want to try it. So I have different colors coming, but I have the white. But I have my trusty M gram here too, in case it sucks, and then we can do something else. And I don't know which colors we're going to use, to be honest. But I want to use some of the new PrizmPour colors, so I have them all out here, and I don't know which ones I'm going to use. So, you know, we're just winging a lot of things. So I'm kind of leaning toward like a sunset bloom where you have kind of some bluish. This actually, the color inspiration came from a color contest in the sheleeart group, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna play. But it's sort of like sunsetty, orangey, reddy pinks on one side, and then kind of the blues and purples. And I thought, well, you could puddle your colors. Anyway, I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I love the picture inspiration, so I thought, why not? I'm gonna mix the cell activator with you because normally when I do M gram, I do about 3 parts Aussie Floetrol to 1 part paint as a guide. It's not an exact measurement, but you know, paint consistencies fluctuate. So I'm gonna use Australian Floetrol. I get my Australian Floetrol from Pixel Paint Designs. She ships from the United States. I have a link and a discount code for you. It's Mandy10, and it's for everything on her website. So she also does bloom gels and that kind of thing. So, I'm in so many Facebook groups, and so if you are a beginner and you have the sticker shock for Australian Floetrol, look, I get it, right? But I just want to give you some perspective. If you're brand new and you're not blooming, you don't need Australian Floetrol. You really don't. But if you're doing blooms, it will make your life a lot easier. Yes, you can make American Floetrol work. I'm not patient enough to want to do all that every time, so there are some people who do a great job and only use it, you know. That's wonderful. I prefer the easy way, but just to give you some perspective, this is a liter, right? But I don't even finish this in a year most of the time, and I paint pretty often and I experiment quite often, so you know, I say all that to say you don't want to, it's an initial investment for sure, but it lasts a long time. That's my rant over. So what I do is I mix a little bit of Australian Floetrol in my cup, and don't judge my cup, I peeled paint out of it, so it's got green on the top. And when you saw me doing this, sometimes tubes of paint, like the paint settles, and something that is more opaque, like titanium white. So like my Atelier tubes, when I sometimes get my titanium white, it comes out like sludgy, like toothpaste instead of like paint. So this helps me break it up. Oh, so anyway, so I'm gonna mix it with you. I don't remember when I saw other people mixing it, if they said it takes a lot more Floetrol or it takes very little. And I should have maybe rewatched that before I go wasting this paint. This paint's expensive. I got it at Blick, but again, stuff like paint for cell activator, a little's gonna last you a long time. So far it looks pretty creamy. It's high viscosity. So what I do when I mix cell activator, pretty much of any kind, is I mix 1 part paint to 1 part Floetrol first until you get it broken up. Sometimes if you overwhelm anything, this is true of everything. Regular pouring, it It mixes really nicely into the Floetrol. But if you mix a whole bunch of paint into a whole bunch of Floetrol into a little amount of paint, you're overwhelming the paint. That's not just blooms, that's everything, right? So a little goes a long way. So I can tell you one of the rules for cell activator land is if you can scrape the side and it pulls away like heavy whipping cream, it's usually going to be a good cell activator. This does that with only one scoop. So I'm going to add, now nothing's flowing off the stick, so obviously 1:1 is not the right ratio, and if it was, it sure would be expensive. So we're going to add another scoop and see. So this is now 2 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint. We're going to mix it up again, see if it drizzles. I'm living on the edge here with the Floetrol and the spinner, right? Let me just not do that. Okay. So again, we're mixing. It mixes easily. So the colors I ordered, in case you're wondering, some of them are on back order. I ordered Payne's Gray because when I saw Lisa mix it, it's a nice deep blue, which is the Payne's Gray versions. I like a blue gray, not a gray. So I was like, I like that color. And I like Payne's Gray as a cell activator when it's blue. Okay, so this is now 2:1. And it's pretty drippy. I don't know how well you can see this from the angle that I'm at, but it's pretty drippy. It doesn't just, yeah, it's pretty drippy. So I think we're gonna try 2:1. It might be a failure, but we'll see. I'm gonna try it on a small 8" first. That is a bloom that didn't dry so well. And let's see. And then I'll show you the colors. You know, if it goes belly up, I'll try it another day and see what happens. So if it's too thick, I won't be able to blow it out. But the danger, well, you might be able to blow it out, but it'll go like, whoa, you know. But the danger of it being too thin is it'll blow out really easily. You'll get really excited. And then as it dries, everything will be icky. Your cell structure will crumble, that kind of stuff. So obviously we don't want that. So now the colors I'm going to use. I think I'm just going to show you as I go. I brought some fluorescent colors out here. I have the pods here for my regular paint. I also mixed up this Teal Indigo as a new Vivid Intense in one of my recent videos. If you missed my video on the new PrizmPour set, it's a couple videos back, and I show you how I mix PrizmPours for blooms, and I show you how I mix this fluid acrylic for blooms. I know I have other videos like that, but I get those questions a lot, so the chance to explain it while you're seeing the new colors is always a win. So I was thinking these might be good for regular non-sparklies, and then, but maybe not all of them, right? So yeah, I'm a little overwhelmed with my ideas in my head. So this is the bloom I'm going to pour over. It looked really pretty when it was poured, and it dried funky. I think it was slanted. And my MDF is wanting to slide around. Look at that. That's dangerous. So sometimes MDF, when it dries perfectly flat, which is why it's wonderful for blooms. But other times it does this thing, even though I don't prime my MDF, but I do prime other wood boards. It does this thing where like it kind of goes whoop, just enough to be annoying and not spin easily. So what I'm going to do to try to help it is put some paint down on the spinner. And as it kind of starts to set, it should help. We'll see. I'm going to leave it. Well, I can't really leave it, right? Because I got to get on with this video. And I'm going to smash it. I got to spin gently because I'm nervous about this. Well, we can probably get it done like that. Okay, so my pillow paint today is PPG Multi-Pro in Eggshell from Home Depot. I do have an older tutorial mixing video in every description box from when I used Glidden Premium a lot. If I had to pick go-to pillow paints, it would be this one and probably Glidden Essentials, but the mixing tutorial is still helpful because I explain the components of the bloom, etc. So if you're new, you kind of know what kind of house paint you need, what you need in a pouring medium. In that video, I was using Sherwin-Williams Infinity Gold, which I still use and I still have. But right now I use Bear Dynasty a little bit more, so maybe I should make like an updated video. But anyway, it's there if you're new. I also have, if you haven't taken the course, I have the discount code for the sheleeart course, because this technique is tough, you know? It is not an easy technique. I always use too much pillow paint. So sometimes taking the course and getting help from others is worth the time and money, but you can learn it. I learned it from others before I took the course, but I think hands down it's worth it. Okay, so let me show you. I don't know what I want to do. So I think I want to use Gone Bananas on the bottom. You know what? I'm not, because I'm gonna. It's really pretty though, so you can adore it from over there. I'm not gonna do that because I want to block my colors. So I want to do sort of the orangey, reddy, purpley, warm colors over here. And I want to do some of the blues and purples over here. Just heard the weirdest noise outside of my house. I don't know if it's my neighbors or what. So there's too many colors to choose from, you guys. I'm having a hard time. So we're going to use Bali High and Hummingbird. Maybe. And then we're going to use Lobster Claw and Passiflower. This may be too many colors, but let's roll with it and see what happens. So on the bottom, I'm gonna drizzle a little Teal Indigo just to give us a little color saturation. So this is Teal Indigo. It's fabulous. So I'm just gonna kind of do this. Nothing too crazy. I mixed this up too thin. Just to give us a little something to work with. I didn't give myself any room over here. And then I'm going to do like I come to these videos with a plan, sort of, but, and I know you guys are probably like, get on with it, you know, and I respect that, but sometimes I have to flesh it out with you because that's part of the process. So this is Hummingbird, so gorgeous. So what we're going to do with this guy is we're going to put him, I started way too far over. Boo. I really did. Way too far over. It's been a while since I puddled my colors like that instead. And then we're gonna do, stop it. Ooh, why did I do that? And then I'm gonna do, kind of feel like I need to do, I want to do Bali High, but I almost feel like those are too similar to do right next to each other. Okay, so let me do Passiflower next to him. So this is a nice shimmery purple. Look how pretty. So we're gonna do that. And I want this to overlap. Oh, I mixed these too thin, you guys. I'm nervous. I can tell they're too watery. And then we're gonna do Lobster Claw. So if you get your paints too thin, you can just add a little bit more of your untinted paint to thicken it up. Or just leave them open while you're doing something, let them thicken up a little bit. But with the varnish, they will try to dry. So that's Lobster Claw. So cute. Okay, that was Lobster Claw. And then what other thing did I say? I kind of changed up the order of things, and maybe we are going to use Gone Bananas. Kind of do need the bright pop, right? Okay, Gone Bananas, which is going to give us some green when it hangs out with this blue in the Hummingbird color. So I'm a little nervous that these colors are going to be too thin, and when I blow down into them, they're gonna not give us much. So I'm gonna put a little bit more of the purple here. I'm gonna drizzle it a little bit here. I know I might get mud there. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more of the Hummingbird here. And I am gonna drizzle a little, living on the edge. And then I'm going to drizzle a little Lobster Claw into the yellow primarily. All right, now I'm gonna move these out of the way. I am concerned that they're too thin. Now I'm going to use these fluorescent colors. I probably should have chosen a blue instead of a purple. Oh well. So this is Fluorescent Red, this is Colourarte Vivid Intense. And I hope that this is thicker, because if it's not, we is in trouble. And I'm gonna drizzle that over these colors. I can already tell that this is going better in my head than it's going to go on this canvas, but we're still gonna give it our best. And this is Fluorescent Blue Green. This is one of the colors that Leslie needs to make by the gallon. And so we're gonna drizzle this one here. I think I might have completely covered up my yellow. And then we're gonna do Fluorescent Red Violet. And I am going to put this kind of everywhere because we need a little pop of color. And this is Fluorescent Purple. I don't know how this is going to turn out, you guys. The colors are super cool. I think I over drizzled my purple. I think I'm going to mess up my statement I was trying to make over here. Put a little red on the top. Okay. What a mess. I don't know how this is going to go. So I'm just like a disaster right now. Okay, so let me zoom you in. I hope that you're at a decent angle, but whew, all right. It's also been a minute since I did a bloom, so I'm a little nervous. Okay, so another sign of a good cell activator is if it halos when you put it down in your paint. And it is doing that. And by halo, I mean it has that like see-through-ish halo looking thing. You guys know what I mean, right? Okay. I'm having a hard time with this. Okay, so this is not the most successful blow, but I don't know if I can blame the cell activator because I had a lot of paint down there and it was hard to get the momentum, you know what I mean? So let me see how it develops on its own before I manipulate it too much. Once I got it going, it does okay. Ooh, I messed that up. So there's some parts that I didn't do a good job on, but ew, that didn't really help. I think I'm just gonna spin it and see what happens. She says as she keeps messing with it. The problem is that if I let it sit too long and it doesn't dry well, it's going to be difficult to know how much of that was because it sat so long before I spun it. You know what I mean? So let's spin it and see how it does. I have a whole lot of paint over here in the way. So far, it's holding its own. For a 2-to-1 ratio, I would expect it to hold its structure a little bit better in the middle, but again, that could be how I blew it out. I mean, it laces up really nicely. I'm gonna have some trouble getting this to the edge because of that funky way I blew it out. So unfortunately, tilting for me, I know it works for a lot of you, but tilting for me usually results in funky, wonky cells because it shifts the original way they blew out. But we kind of needed to do that or we were going to have to overspin, which, if you may recall, is precarious at the moment because of my MDF not wanting to stay on the spinner. So my idea of kind of having the sunsetty colors and the blue colors on this side, I mean, it sort of worked. It would look cool with a black cell activator or a white and black. The colors are beautiful. I'm a little concerned about how thin my PrizmPour colors are, so I think I may need to thicken them up a little bit. PrizmPour colors also have a nice glossy base, so I try not to over water them down with Sonja, just enough to get them to the right consistency. And I may have just not added enough of my deep base. So where we're getting some misshapen, not misshapen, but like overstretched cells here is really my fault. So I'd like to try the TriArt again and just see how it does when I get a better blow. This bloom is cool. It's better than the one I poured over. It's not like the greatest bloom, but it's very colorful, very sunsetty. Excuse me. That Gone Bananas color is pretty. I'm curious how these, like, I probably put a little bit too much cell activator. I'm curious how these little rivers are gonna dry. You can tell that they're trying to kind of travel into the paint. I don't like that very much. And again, I can't tell if they would do that if I had nailed the blow, because over here you have nice tight lacing, over here you have nice tight lacing, you have nice tight lacing here, over here. So the places where it's doing that is where there was too much cell activator. So I guess my initial thought is it works well. It's not as forgiving if you use too much cell activator. It definitely gives you cells. I'm curious how it will perform in a swipe. So yeah, I mean, I like it. Will it replace my M-Gram? It probably won't, but it's nice to have the options, you know what I mean? And you always want to try new things, because if somebody's trying to sell Activator that's just giving them like the most marvelous cells, you want in on that, you know? So let me bring you down for a close-up. For the sake of time, I think if I go again, I may do that as a separate video, but hang in just in case, I guess. So let me show you. Okay, so here's the close-up, and you can see what I mean, where the lacing is really tight and nice. It's very cool. But here's what I was talking about, where there was a little too much cell activator, so I'm kind of curious how that dries. But let me know what you think. Was this helpful? What do you think of the colors on this guy? And I'll try it again in a future video for fun. Look at those colors. The PrizmPour colors are amazing. They're amazing. Look at that Gone Bananas. It's like super amazing. So yeah, let me know what you think of this bloom and the colors. So yeah, I like it. Thanks for watching. Bye.